Good morning, Coach. How you doing this morning?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Coach, can you talk on? We always talk about the duration of a season or how practices were or the progression of players throughout a season, but how is your mental psyche heading into this season for the Duke Lady Blue Devils?
My personal psyche,
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, um, this time of the year is always a lot of excitement because you're starting something new with a new group of people. And you have, for us, we had a lot of returners, which you're looking forward to seeing their growth when you get to the games and having them, maybe be in some different roles or some expanded roles. It's great to be together with a new group. So I would say my psyche is solid at this moment.
We're about 2 weeks away from your opening game against November 4 for your opening game. Where do you think the team is at in regards to just getting ready for the season in general?
I think the team is still developing. I mean, obviously, as a coach, there's always more things that you can work on or certain areas of the game that you feel like you need to continue to grow in. For us, that's every area, to be quite honest. But I think towards the end of training camp, you're excited to play the games because you've been going at it. I mean, we've been going at it for almost 5 weeks now, and it's ready. I think the players are ready to have those first tests. We have a challenging non-conference, and it's going to test us in a lot of ways. And I think that we feel excited about the opportunities that we're going to have to go against some great opponents.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Lewis, go ahead.
Hey, Kara, you mentioned those challenges, and I was looking through the schedule a bit earlier this week, and I think it's kind of rare to see Power Four teams have so many true road games in their non-conference. Was that intentional? What kind of challenge does playing those true road games, in November and December present to a team?
Yeah, I don't really know what everybody else does, but it's not been rare for Duke. I mean, if you look at our history, well, I should say my history, right? Like ours as a program, but I would say maybe my second year or third year here is when we really could control the schedule. The way schedules are put together, it can be like a year out or 2 years out or 3 years out, depending on those agreements. So we've been very intentional to go on the road and probably play games that, I don't know, maybe I'm a little crazy because we play games that nobody will take. Like we went to Toledo and we've gone to Florida Gulf Coast and we went to Columbia last year and going to South Dakota State this year. Most Power Fours don't do that. It's okay. I mean, I think for our young team last year, to play those road games in a non-conference, even though we didn't win all of them, expose them to a level of, intensity, expose them to a level of play that they needed to see it so that they weren't surprised when we got to the ACC what the level was. So that's the intention. Maybe in a couple months I'll be mad that I did it, but I just think players want to play in good games, man. Like I'll just always go back to like being a player. Like, do you want to play in 50, 60-point blowouts or like you want to play in some real games? I always wanted to play in the real games. Like I always wanted to play in the real environments, in the close ones, in the ones that you got stretched and the ones you got exposed in. And so I don't know. That's kind of what we do. And, yeah, we probably play more road games than everybody else. But that's okay.
Thank you.
Jim, go ahead.
Well, hey, Kara, good to see you again. Um, your system is not easy to learn. You've got tremendous roster retention from last year. You've never had this many returning players. Can you talk about the benefits of having that kind of returnee uh, buy-in with maybe starting the season at a higher level than would otherwise be the case?
Well, I mean, I kind of I have a really good relationship with all of our players, and we have a really great understanding of one another. And I think we have a great trust. And when you have that, no matter if you are experiencing success or you're experiencing failure, you have the trust and the persistence to work through things. And so I think that's what we've developed with our team. And, we have ups, we have downs, but we stay really committed to one another. And as far as having the returners, they understand terminology. They understand base level of positioning, things like that. I think that's helpful, certainly in the beginning stages, but doesn't entitle you to anything when the games start. So for summer workouts and for the beginning of practice, yes, their faces looked like they actually knew what I was talking about this year, which was a good thing. Beyond that, we're going to be a different team than last year. Can't help but be that with what we did lose through graduation, and that even with pieces returning, we're still trying to figure out how to navigate and how that will manifest itself when we start playing games.
I assume you're talking about the center position. I mean, obviously, you don't want to be a donut team. You're a team with no center. Um, but I assume Delaney is going to be a big answer to that question.
I mean, all of our forwards will have to play some. We'll have to defend the 5 position for us, and so certainly Delaney's one of those players that will have to do that.
Let me ask you about Reagan Richardson. I mean, she was your leading scorer last year, your only All ACC player, but I sense that she's got another gear and another level. We talked to her earlier about, I guess, working on her mental game, her confidence, her consistency. You just talk about where she is right now and what your hopes are for her senior season.
My hopes for Reagan is continue to be one of the best two-way players in our league, and I think she was that a year ago, and continue to do that at a high level. Improving in rebounding, I think, is an area of growth for Reagan. Reducing her turnover rate, I think, is an area of growth for Reagan. And then also increasing our three-point percentage. Those are kind of the areas we've talked about and worked on. And then, of course, from all your players, you said the word, we are looking for the consistency. Can you play consistent quarters, consistent halves, consistent games, consistent weeks, consistent months in our league against really tough competition? That will be Reagan's challenge this year.
Well, she did talk very candidly about her work over the summer, trying to increase her confidence level, trying to improve the mental aspect of her game. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Reagan?
Yeah. Reagan, yeah.
I mean, I think her just having an understanding of what we're trying to do and a grasp for what we need from her and then us having an understanding of each other, a better understanding of each other. We never had a poor understanding of each other, but now Reagan's 3 years with me, and so she knows what I'm looking for, and she knows my tendencies and my looks, and I know her tendencies and her looks, and so that allows me to, I think, coach her better in every way, not just the mental way.
Okay, thanks.
We'll go over to the Chronicle.
Hi, Coach Lawson. So, what lessons do you think you took away from your time with the Olympic team? And also, how do you think that international basketball, being on the international stage, is going to influence this team with so many players with international experience, like Emma and Toby and Vanessa and Luann?
Takeaways. I think there's I'm pausing because there's many. I'll try to just pick one or two. Like being in a competitive environment like the Olympics, you get, as a coach, a lot of valuable reps. We practice every day. Being a part of a coaching group with so many talented coaches, from planning practice to sitting in a coaches meeting and talking about scheme, how to guard certain actions. What do you do at your program? What do you do at your program? When this happens, problem solving together collaboratively is really valuable. And then in game, even though I wasn't the head coach, we had a great head coach. You still are getting those mental reps of, okay, it's a possession game in the fourth quarter. What do we need to do here? And then from the scouting perspective too, you have scouts that you're assigned to, and that you have to watch a lot of film on and create a game plan, create a scouting report, and present that to the team. So like all of those areas as a coach, I grew, and that was great for me. I think as coaches, we challenge our players every year to come back better, and I think it's incumbent upon us as coaches as well to come back better for our players. And so for me, coaching development this summer was great, and I think that experience kind of facilitated that growth. As far as the international experience with the players, I really love the international game. I love FIBA. I mean, I've been involved with it for a long time, and to be honest with you, we don't intentionally or unintentionally target like where a player's from in terms of recruiting. We really look at how they play, and do we feel like they fit with how we want to play. And Emma and Toby and Lou and Vanessa, even though Vanessa wasn't someone that I brought here, Vanessa was signed with the previous regime. We liked how they played, and we liked the type of teammates they were, and we liked the type of people they were. And so more so than their country of origin, it just fits kind of our Duke community. And honestly, I think like that, our roster is kind of a microcosm of greater Duke community. If you really think about it, you guys are students here. Like, it's very diverse in terms of the states people are from and the countries people are from. And so, it's cool to have that mix, that diversity on your team for sure.
Thank you, Coach. I have two more questions just about your staff. I want to start with Assistant Coach Elsie. How does it benefited the team having her expertise factor into your game planning and looking forward to this season?
She's an outstanding coach. I mean, Coach Elsie and I go back 25 years. We were college teammates. She's been doing this at a high level for a long time. She's someone I respect a lot. And I just thought that she could add, experience to our staff. Obviously, having just been a head coach in the Power Four last year, there's some things that she understands, maybe a little bit differently as far as what it's like to sit in this seat, and has helped me a lot. As well. She's great with players, like she always has been. She was great as a teammate, and she's great at building relationships with players and teaching them, and they're all just really comfortable around her already. I mean, you'll see them in her office, and she's got a great sense of humor and a great personality, and she's got a little trash talk to her. I don't know if that's the right word, but the main thing she's brought is, man, I've been getting double teamed by these Hawkeyes for 2 years. Okay, it's been a problem. In every meeting, I've been getting tag teamed by Jackson and Lang, and so now I got now we're 2v2, and I got somebody else, and we played them in the bowl last year, in a New Year's Bowl, and they didn't score much on us. I don't know if you remember that score, but we played the Hawkeyes in the football game, and it wasn't really close. So it's nice to have, someone else to be on my side in these arguments, that occur. And of course, football, team is doing well. Our alma mater's football team is doing well, which is always a good thing.
Thank you, Coach. And then one final question. Could you talk about the influence of the media team working with your basketball team, Kiara Cooper and Calvin? How have they helped build the women's basketball brand, and how do you think they amplify your program's culture?
Yeah, I think we have a great connectivity all across our program, and certainly in creative. They very talented, do a great job of understanding kind of like what our program's about, but also putting their own, spin on things. And, I wish I could tell you a lot about like technically what they do. I know, but I'm not very well versed in that. I kind of just like what they're producing, and we talk a lot. I mean, I think the thing about, creative side is I think you have to spend time with people for them to understand what your vision is. I don't think it's hard for someone to be creative if they don't know what they're supposed to be creative around. You have to have a vision for something. You have to talk about it. You have to spend time with people. And then you got to allow them to be creative. You know what I'm saying? Around that. So for me, it's been great to spend time around them, get to know them to spend time around me, and they get a feel for like kind of what I'm looking for, and then they take it and go. And I know it's like, no, I didn't say anything like really tangible there, but like that's kind of like how it works. Like we meet, we talk about big picture ideas, we talk about things. It's a conversation, and then they make what they make, and then I got a little hidden executive producer credit usually on most of the things. I'm joking, I don't have executive producer credit, but I have a little background in media, just a small one, so I actually know more than the average coach about some technical things from cameras and audio, and so I know some of their vocabulary, so I'll throw it out once in a while just to make them laugh. But very talented, and the best thing you can do is kind of like coaching players. You have to give the vision, you have to give the framework, but they got to be able to play. They got to be able to play and use their own instincts and create. And so I try to take that same approach with our creative team. I got to set the vision. I got to set the framework, but then I got to allow them to utilize their talents and abilities to be special. And so we have the best creative team in the country. And I think our content, our detail, our edits, just the thoughtfulness that goes into kind of everything that we do definitely sets a standard in the sport. There is no doubt about that. And that's something hopefully we can continue to be the industry leader in that.
Thank you so much, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, next, Talia.
Hey, Coach, going back a little bit to what Jim was talking about a little bit earlier, in the age of the portal and the landscape that we have right now, there are very few teams that were able to return as much as you did this season. What do you feel like that just says about Duke as a program?
I don't really look at it in that way. I think it's more of what it says about like the players themselves and our staff, and then our relationships with each other, right? So you could be at a great place, a place that is amazing school, which Duke is. You could be at a great program, which Duke is. But if you have the wrong players, it won't matter. I think we just communicate about with each other, and we're honest with one another. And I think the players that are here really enjoy that. And we're rare in that sense. We didn't have anyone leave, and we're also rare in the sense in that we just have a lot of players that are with us for a lot of years, and I like that. I like having a player that's been here 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, in Vanessa's case, and I know that's going out of style in a lot of places, but for us, we like having 4-year relationships, and I like the whole part of a 4-year relationship. I like the struggle. I like the growth. I like the successes. I like the failures. I like all of that. I think you're just connected in a different way when you have that. And you're a different type of player in this environment when you want that, when that's something that's important to you. And so we just have some different players that way, that it's important to them.
You mentioned you love the struggle and the growth aspect of it. Is there a specific example that comes to mind that's been your kind of favorite showcase of that?
I think from a big picture standpoint, last year's team, we were a whole struggle, in the non-conference, just one big struggle. And we kind of just kept growing and growing and growing, and not allowing the struggle to impact our desire to keep improving, and not allowing the struggle to impact our attitude and our just daily how we came into the gym. And we were able to, that group was able to play their best basketball of the year when in the NCAA tournament. And it's a great lesson, for all of us, that in the midst of a poor stretch of the season, or in the midst of a tough non-conference, there's still a lot of things to capture, and still a lot of things that you can go after. So from a big picture standpoint, that's probably the most current one or recent one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one more quick one for you here. Other than Ariana, is there anyone who's expected to be unavailable for the season opener against Radford?
I don't think so. I don't know where we are. I haven't, I guess we're all day to day, aren't we? But, yeah, I don't think there's anybody that I would say right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last question, Lewis.
The score of that football game, by the way, was 35-0. Kara, just as a
Wait. What was the score?
35-0.
They didn't
Tennessee,
score?
Ohio. They did not score. No points.
Holy cow. Wait till I see these. Are they upstairs? The Hawkeyes? Oh, 0 points. Unbelievable.
The last question I want to ask you really quick. Vanessa coming back from injury. Yeah, obviously she was on the bench with you all and playing a role from that perspective last season. But how nice is it to have her back on the court, able to contribute to the team from that perspective?
Yeah, V's been with me the longest. V's been with me the longest, all 5 years. So there's a comfort for me, for sure, to have her out on the court. She has an understanding of the standard here and how we play. She's one of my best workers, always has been, probably from her, not as much her freshman year, sophomore year on. Not saying she didn't work her freshman year. She wasn't there yet. She didn't know how to work. So it feels great to have her back. She's a great teammate. She's someone that all the other players on the team very much respect V. Very much respect V on and off the floor. So to have another player that has experience and veteran is good for our team. And she's been through a lot of the battles in our league, and so it's been great.